Peace, love. Oh, hold on. Let's make sure y'all can hear me. Is this on? I want to make sure that y'all can hear me. Hold on one second, family. I just realized that it says, I hope it's not mute. All right. Hopefully we get somebody in the comments. Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Checking, checking, checking. Seeing if y'all can hear me. Let me move this back. It's been a while, as you can see, since I've used my mic, which is interesting because I've been going live here on YouTube a lot. And I said, you know what? We need to use this mic. I think I see the bubbles popping up at the bottom where it shows the audio. So I am going to assume that for those of you who are watching live, and those of you who are watching the replay, that you can hear me. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Who's in the building? My I've been using my voice a lot. But yeah, I actually absolutely see that it is the sound quality is up. So let's keep it rolling. Today has been a day. Not in a bad way. I don't know if anyone else was feeling this energy of uncertainty, of a collapse, of feeling like you're detaching from things that really doesn't serve you. I'm always keeping busy, right? Whether it's between training my physical body, I'm always training my mental. And then on top of that, teaching, healing, these are my passions. I remember a few times I was asked, "What are your hobbies? Like, what do you like to do? What are things that you like absolutely love, like outside of your healing work?" And this is, I love, like, people look at this as a job, like as work. It's really challenging for me to call this work. I can't call it work. This is something that I absolutely love to do. And so this is my favorite hobby. My favorite hobby is teaching. My favorite hobby is learning. My favorite hobby is being here on this planet and being the blessing for someone, right? My heart lights up when someone says to me, the insight that I got from you using iridology, using your tools, your herbs, all of your methods and everything that you teach really helped me to retrain how I think, how I eat, how I look at the world. And I'm like, that's like just the absolute like best feeling for me. Hold on, family. So today I'm journeying and I'm like, okay, what is this uneasy feeling? Like, I would say more so after like the midday, I started feeling like so uneasy, like just this feeling of uncertainty. And I said to myself, all right, something is happening and I need to be calm and I need to receive whatever it is that the messages that are coming through. And I ran into one of my martial arts brothers that I used to train with years ago. For those of you that doesn't know, I do train. And when I ran into him, I'm like, "Oh, how you doing?" And he just gave me some news about, someone he knows, and their health, and I'm very empathic. I feel things deeply. Like, I feel what a person is, challenged with, and it just really touched me. And then, I said, I wanted to go live earlier, but it's all good. We're here. Tonight we're not going to be long. I wanted to come on here so that you all can have the understanding that we are journeying through times where we have forgotten our innate abilities to heal ourselves, to restore this vessel. The fact that we forgot how intelligent we came. I'm going to pivot for a second. For those of you who are watching the recording, peace, love, and light, thank you so much for watching the recording. For those of you who are watching live, peace, love, and light, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video, please. It's so important. I was talking to a new mother. I do that work as well. I'm not deep into it like a doula, but there are some people that come to me when it comes to the vaccines and, different things like that, of getting tips on, exemptions and, education. I'm working with a mother, and, her mother said, well, if she doesn't get the inoculations, well, what can she take for I don't want the baby to get sick. And that thinking, we've been tricked out of our natural medicine. What made us think that our children were going to be sick? What tricked us into believing that we need inoculations into an already perfect vessel? The baby is born perfect. You are born perfect. We've been tricked into believing that we need something outside of ourselves to somehow give us immunity that Creator itself did not already supply us with. That everything around us, we were in lack. See, when you think about medicine and you think about the way that we look at our bodies, it's a lack based thinking, because we have been tricked into believing that we came here in lack, that you need this, you need that, you need all of these different things outside of yourself to somehow keep your human frame intact throughout the rest of your life. What happens when we switch that thinking into abundance? What happens when we say to ourselves, well, I am born abundant. Look around you. You don't see one tree. You don't see one flower. How many flowers do you see when you see a bed of flowers? If God itself, the creator itself, put you in here in lack, you would only see one flower, one tree, right? One. But you see a bunch. You see plenty. You see abundance of these entities, this living spirit around us. But somehow you were tricked into thinking that you are in lack. So now we have it where, okay, we're in lack. I'm born in lack. And so my baby needs something because they're lacking vitamin K, right? Let's talk about that for a second. Cuz now we're getting into we've been tricked out of our natural medicine, okay? And so we're going to start from the very beginning of life. right? What is the first things that they say we need? We need these inoculations, right? Let's touch on vitamin K shot. I have a video on this on my page. You got to scroll. It's on one of my videos, one of my shorts. Let me tell you something, family. I have miles and miles and miles and miles of library in this beautiful, beautiful brain of mine. And it just keeps going. And when you ask me questions, you never know what you're going to get. So go ahead and post questions in the chat, in the comments. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to put my email in the chat if you want to email me to schedule your appointment. I still, of course, do my advanced iridology analysis. This is not your average iridology consultation. This is more thorough. I work with you on your anatomy, your physiology based upon your iris blueprint. So go ahead and schedule your iridology appointment. I'm going to put that in the chat so that you can begin to understand your health the way it was always intended for you to understand. Okay. You came here with the map, you are the map. But again, what's the topic? We've been tricked out of our own medicine. We've been tricked out of our own medicine. So, a baby, right? A vitamin K. Doctors say, oh, well, the baby is born without vitamin K. So, we need to give them this synthetic version of vitamin K because the baby is born with low vitamin K. We have not on a mass scale questioned why that is. Well, let me explain to you why that is. When a baby is first born, their little organs are not fully developed. Their gallbladder, their pancreas, their liver, their little guts, they're not fully developed. The main areas in your body that's responsible for synthesizing vitamin K is your liver, your gallbladder, and your pancreas. Okay, follow me here. And so when the baby is born, these areas being that it's underdeveloped until it hits like its first 6 to 8 months of life, they're not going to have a mass amount of vitamin K, which protects against, bleeding, hemorrhaging, things like that. And so the way for the baby to get the vitamin K is through the mother, which is why it is important to breastfeed, right? They call it the golden milk. The breast milk has the vitamin K, it has the vitamin A. Matter of fact, the first round of breast milk that comes in during the first few days of the baby's life, it's yellow colostrum coming in, which has all of the minerals that the baby needs to sustain itself. And so when we begin to ask these different questions and start thinking on a level of understanding the anatomy and say, hold on a second, there's a reason for everything. God, creator, whatever you want to call your God, did not put you here in lack. Please understand me. Please understand me, overstand me. You were not put here in lack. We've been tricked out of our own medicine. We've been tricked out of our own natural medicine. Most of us don't even know what iridology is. Most of us don't even know that we are walking maps. Your entire body is a map to look and pierce into what is happening on an internal organ level. So we can look at the spleen and see, okay, there's an iron issue. There's a red blood cell issue. There's an immune defense issue because matter of fact, the spleen is the largest lymphatic organ in the body. You look at the spleen, you can tell how healthy a person is and how well they will bounce back from any kind of illness. Okay, we can look at the gallbladder, right? How many of us are walking gallstones, walking around with these stones, this plaque in our body? And well before you began to experience any symptoms. Family, we've been tricked out of our own medicine. See, I have to be redundant because the more redundant we are with this, the more we can begin to snap out of this coma and begin to take back what's rightfully ours. We talk about land. We argue all day long online about what we are. If we're Black, we're African this and Native American this. Listen, whatever consensus you came to, bottom line is that we are sicker than ever. Okay. So no matter what you claim to be, are we well enough to even fight for whatever land that you say is rightfully yours? Okay. So these are the conversations that we need to have, right? How we've been taught about disease, how we've been taught about health, it's all backwards. When we look at disease names, see, I am a root person. I am a roots woman. I like to go to the origin, the etymology of the word to understand and overstand what the heck they're saying because they talk in a specific jargon where it stays within their arena and you will never be able to pierce and understand what they're talking about. So when they're talking about like different disease names and disease name this and disease name that and all of these different, and I'm like, hold on a second, bring it back, run that back. Let's break the word down to its original form, whether it's Latin or Greek base, and let's see what we're dealing with, right? Let's see what's happening when we look at the word diabetes, when we look at the word lupus, when we look at these all of these different disease names like Crohn's and colitis. Where is all this coming from? And when you start to look and say, hold on a second, these names are less than 100 years old. Less than 100 years old. And you're like, wait, what? We've been tricked out of our own medicine. Family. Oh my goodness. Family, if you're here, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We are having a conversation because I was just touched by the news that I received this evening about an old acquaintance, and their health. And it really got me to my core where I'm like, oh my goodness, these challenges that we're facing, I see it as simple to fix. But to someone else out there, it can seem so challenging to get off the sugar, to get off the carbs, to get off the fast food. And I wish I had my bitters in front of me, right? First, I want to just put this out here, right? This is the cold and flu drops. We just restocked this. So you definitely want to get this for your children, for yourself, right? I made this about 6 years ago, and it's elderflower, comfrey, cinnamon bark, olive leaf, star anise, and you just put it under the tongue for your child. Mm. It's so sweet. So sweet. I give this to my daughter around this time every year, and it's strong, right? It's strong. So it's for 1 years old and up. And so I'm showing you this. This is what we just restocked on, the cold and flu drops, right? All natural for children, no alcohol. I have my bitters as well. I talked about that today on my YouTube and a short video that I did, that when it comes to reprogramming how you eat, you have to retrain. This is not something that you just snap your finger and it's done. Bitters, family, bitters, 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 bitters. Okay. We must retrain how we eat, how we think, so we can govern this mind to be our greatest selves. It's not, the eating is just the beginning. Controlling what you eat is the beginning, right? That's the beginning. And then the next step is to govern your mind so that you can be your higher self. That is what we come here for. That's what we come here for. I'm just in a state right now where it's like I let things just like roll off from me. I don't hold on to anything. I don't stay mad at anything or anyone because I understand that everybody you meet is a mirror of somewhat of your inner consciousness that is still there, and that you waste life, precious life force, your chi, by exuding and like just giving all this anger energy, this frustration energy. Like, you are wasting chi, y'all. We're wasting chi energy, right? And so we've been tricked out of our medicine. I have to keep saying that. I'm being redundant because, and you want to run this live back for those of you who are just tuning in, because we talked about why we have and how this happened. How did this happen? How we were tricked out of this? Big Mama used to give birth to us. And somehow it went from Big Mama to a European doctor in a white coat, right? We used to pull roots out of the ground. Let me tell you a story. I have so many stories. See, this lineage didn't start with me. It started with my great grandmother and her mother. My family is full of healers, and I'm sure your family is too. You have to study your bloodline, okay? Everyone has that root person in their family, Ashe. So, my great grandmother, Doretha Chandler, she was an herbalist in her own right. She had her own garden in Georgia. My family's from Georgia. And I remember one year she has a newspaper article. I have it somewhere in my archives where she won for the year for the biggest squash. Right, like she grew the biggest squash in her neighborhood that year. Well, anyway, my grandmother was diagnosed with diabetes, and she ended up losing eyesight in one of her eyes. It got to the point where they wanted to amputate her leg, and so she said to them doctors, ain't nobody taking my leg. You know how them Southern people talk. Nobody touching this leg of mine. Nobody. So, what did grandma do to get that circulation back into her legs? She went in her garden. She was already growing dandelion. Now, people sleep on dandelion, right? Because you, what did we talk about when we started this live? Abundance, family. You don't find one flower in the garden, you don't find one tree in the woods, you find an abundance of them. And what does she have in the garden? An abundance of dandelion. You have an abundance of dandelion. Dandelion is so powerful, family. If you don't have dandelion in your home and you didn't pull it up in your yard before you cut that grass, you need to get and pull them roots up and get that dandelion. All right. So let me finish the story. So she goes and she takes this dandelion, pulls it from the root, milks the bark, that liquid from the bark. She takes the bark. She also takes the leaves, boils that as a tea, but she boiled it down, made a cream, a salve. And she got ahead, she went. I'm talking in her language now. I gotta get my little southern accent on. She took that cream, baby, and she boiled it down. And this is my cousin. This is what my cousin said. I have a video on my Instagram of me showing you what my cousin was saying. And she rubbed it on her leg every single day. And guess what? Guess what, family? My grandmother ended up leaving this earth with both her legs. Doctors said the tissue was dead, that she can no longer keep that leg. And she told those doctors, ain't nobody taking my leg. And she left this world with her leg with the power of dandelion. Dandelion. And when heard that story, I knew this was my time. This was my purpose. Like, I come from a bloodline of powerful healing women. My great grandmother, that was my great grandmother Doretha. Then her daughter, my grandmother Dora, she was a herbalist in her own right. And then my mother, oh man, herbalist, activist, everything down the line. They all were. And so I'm here right now, and they're speaking through me, and they're saying to me, we've been tricked out of our own medicine, y'all. For real. Like, this is an urgent message. I really trust y'all are sharing this live. When I was younger, I didn't know nothing about no NyQuil, no prescription medications, none of that. When I was growing up, my mother had herbs in her cabinet, y'all. Everything we needed for ear infections, coughs, flus, everything. Okay. There's a medication that they use to treat ringworms. I don't know what it is. It's some type of antibiotic. My brother had ringworms pretty bad when we were like 10, 11 years old. And it was so bad it left like a spot on his scalp, like a bald spot. And the doctors wanted to give antibiotics. Man, my mother went in that cabinet. Mm-mm. Got that tea tree oil, that wormwood, that black walnut, rubbed it on his scalp, and did it every day. Put a stocking cap on his head, kept it on there. Man, that ringworm went away. Because ringworm, nothing but fungus, fat bacteria. That's it, all it is. And it went away. And his hair grew back. No antibiotics. None. I recall so many times I had sore throats. It wasn't, oh, I'm gonna go to the doctor and they're gonna tell me I gotta get my tonsils out, which they love to do that. That's another thing. I talked about that before my last live. They love to take the tonsils out, which the tonsils being sore, it's a reason for that because your tonsils contain a large amount of neutrophils. And what is in the word neutrophils, family? What is it? NEUT, but the word in neutrophils is the word net. And what does the tonsils act as? A net to catch bacteria. So when the sore throats happen, that means that the body is overloaded with bacteria. And before it compromises the rest of the body, it captures all of that in a net. That is what your tonsils are for. Okay. Neutrophils net. Okay. And so when I would get sore throats, my mother would make me ginger shots. She would make me carrot, ginger, garlic, apple. Man, I was going to work smelling like garlic, going to school smelling like garlic coming out of my pores. Like it was, yeah. And guess what though? Them sore throats was gone within a day or two, less than 2 days, a little less than 2 days. We've been tricked out of our own medicine. I used to have earaches. It wasn't no antibiotics. It was natural stuff for ear infections. And my mother used to buy this stuff from the health food store. And I said to myself, I remember in 2020, I read this book. And for those of you watched my live before I talked about it, I read this book when I was pregnant with my daughter. And it really just opened my mind to all of these different childhood illnesses that we run to urgent care for. And after reading the book, and then I had so many copies of it at the time, I said, I want to create something that is going to help parents to doctor their own children at home so that they can begin to understand the power of natural healing and that it's at the tip of their fingertips and that you can use herbs to work with the body instead of masking the symptoms with antibiotics. And this is where the Children's Defense Kit was born. This is 2 out of 3 of the products. This here is the ear care. This is the ear infection stuff. This is olive oil, fresh live garlic, calendula powder, white willow bark. And then this is the cold and flu for sore throats, coughs, all of the cold and flu like symptoms. No more NyQuil. Okay. You can put this right under the tongue of your child and then you put this in their ear. Let me tell you this. I love this stuff right here. I love all my products. This ear care, y'all. Oh my goodness. My daughter, she deals with ear challenges. I noticed that about her since she was a baby. She can have anything that's excess of mucus and she's complaining of an earache. I warm it first. First, I boil some water. I put this in the hot water to let it warm. And then I take it, put a couple drops in her ear, sleep like a baby. Next day, pain gone because you're dealing with natural antibiotics. Garlic is powerful for pains, for anti inflammation, because that's what we're dealing with. White willow bark is nature's aspirin. That's what it's called. Matter of fact, that's where they get all of these medications from. The aspirin is derived from herbs. The medications that we use are derived from herbs. The heart medication is derived from foxglove, which is from heart for the heart. Aspirin is derived from white willow bark, which is nature's aspirin. It's a natural pain reliever. We've been tricked out of our own medicine. Y'all, I have to be redundant with that. This is only part one for us to understand and overstand that. So, family, we've been going strong for 30 minutes. I want to make it and keep it at that marker. I want to thank you all for being here. And I really trust that this moves you to take back what's naturally yours. Slowly and surely, we're going to get there. Uh, and to do that, I need y'all to send this live out. Make sure you like this live. Make sure you share the live and make sure you comment. This is so important. I did pin the comment for you to book your iridology consultation. My system is called Advanced Iridology Analysis. We decode your labs, we look at everything, we put everything together. You get a full comprehensive report, a full comprehensive report. Nothing standard over here. So we look at your iris in full, look at your brain, your spleen, your liver, your gallbladder. So many of us are not even understanding how all of these organs work, right? So it's important to understand the anatomy of these organs so that you can finally get the results that you are looking for, because you're in a circle. I got to do this. I got to do that. I want to take this. I want to take that. But you don't even know exactly what works for your body. And so you are the map. You are the map. Again, we've been tricked out of our own medicine. Around the 1920s is when they cleaned house. That's when they got rid of the chiropractors and they got rid of the iridologists and they got rid of all the natural schools. By the end, I believe, of the 1920s, you had one naturopathic school in standing, because they had to develop the medical monopoly, right? See, when people talk about medicine, they don't understand the history. You have to know the history. There's a book called Murder by Injection by Eustace Mullins, and he talks about the beginning of how this medical monopoly got started, right? And some of y'all know these names: J.P. Morgan, Henry Ford. Why am I talking about a person who owns a bank and a person who owns the car dealership? Yeah, it's all connected, one big medical monopoly. So the whole gist of it was for people to be more reliant on this system rather than you relying on yourselves to heal. We've been tricked out of our own medicine. We've been tricked out of our own medicine. So now chiropractors are quacks. Iridologists are quacks. Naturopathic doctors are quacks. Everything outside of Western medicine are quacks. But did you know? Did you know this when you read that book, that they didn't even have, see, the standard of getting a medical degree? There were no medical degrees. They were putting on white coats and calling themselves doctors. They were putting on white coats and calling themselves doctors. So many of them didn't even practice cleaning before they went into surgery. Do you know how many people died on the table? Children dying because of just bacteria, from delivering one baby, didn't wash their hands, and then they delivered again. And then now washing your hands is mandatory now. But it wasn't before. We've been tricked out of our own medicine, y'all. I'm telling you. Listen, you gotta know the history. You have to. I mean, it goes deep. Like, I ain't talking about just in. I'm talking about in 1800s. You gotta go back. It's deep. So, family, the question is: are you going to take it back? Are you going to start practicing natural tools in your everyday life? You ain't got to be perfect, but let me tell you something. You got to do something to save yourself. You got to do something to save yourself every day. Because I was just talking to somebody about this earlier. I'm like, listen, life is going to life. I don't think we fully grasp that. When life starts lifing, we begin to check out, and then we find ourselves 10 years later, didn't even do a detox, didn't even do a parasite cleanse, didn't even flush our liver, didn't even do none of the things that we were doing 10 years prior. And then like, oh man, how do I get back? Simple. You have the thought, you get back. We overthink. Trust me, I know life was lifer for me last year, and I stopped everything. But I told myself I could do one or two things. I can put my energy into worrying, or I can put my energy into having faith. I chose putting my energy into having faith. And that's where I'm going to stay for the rest of my life. And I've created systems, programs for you to do the same. And this is why my BBG shout out to my BBG crew out there, Bloat Be Gone. The Bloat Be Gone challenge, 10-day beginner friendly level of a reset starts September the 1st. All right. This is the easiest 10 days you'll ever do. Let me tell you, I have so many people who are benefiting from this reset. People who have never done a detox before in their entire lives are saying, oh my goodness, look at what's coming out of me. I've completely changed the way I'm looking at food. We had one woman in there saying that she didn't even want to eat meat anymore. She had no craving for meat, no craving for fast food. Fast food was her weakness. McDonald's was her weakness. And she didn't even want it anymore. Family, family, 10 days. Can you do 10 days? 10 days is all I'm asking. So if you're interested in the BBG, Bloat Be Gone, I'm going to put my email here. We're going to get you set up with that because this is important. It's not about being perfect. See, one of the things that we see all day long on social media is, oh, it's not hard. Stop eating sugar. Eat a strawberry instead of a donut. Like, hold on a second. How you going to tell somebody to switch from eating a donut to a strawberry when they're two different chemical compositions? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a sugar has different sugar. I mean, strawberry has different sugar. It has fruit sugar. And a donut has a chemicalized broken down sugar that the brain automatically gets excited from. Your brain doesn't get excited from a strawberry, right? You don't sit around saying, oh yeah, I'm craving a strawberry, but you'll sit there and crave a donut. Why is that? Because it's two different types of sugars. And so how do we help a person get from point A to point B if they want to get off the donut and they want to go to strawberry? So you have to begin to retrain the taste buds. You have to retrain your taste buds. There's no, like, you cannot skip steps, because if you begin to skip steps and tell yourself, oh, I'm going to stop this and I'm just going to go to that, you're going to find yourself in a loop again. We've been tricked out of our own medicine. So now you have to retrain your body, retrain your taste buds, retrain how the hormones work in your stomach. You have hunger hormones. You have hormones that tell your brain if you're satisfied. You have hormones that tell your brain when you're hungry. You have your natural GLP-1 that balances your blood sugar and also helps to help you to be okay, are you satisfied? Are you hungry? All of that has to be retrained and internally and alive again. And then over time you're going to find yourself, oh wow, I really don't like that thing that I thought I liked. Right? You think that you like that food, or you love it so much, but you know what, you really don't. And now you can have control over when you want it, not, oh, I have to have it. Like I said, I have so many stories of so many of my clients leaving middle of the night to go get a cake because they couldn't go to sleep without having something sweet. And so in the BBG, it's your beginning to govern your own mind, govern how you eat, how you interface with your foods in the world around you. Shout out to the BBG crew. Bloat Be Gone. And I'm telling you, it really helps you to de-bloat, y'all. That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. So if you're bloated and you're not going to the bathroom the way that you know you're supposed to be going, right? You're backed up, right? You know your thoughts, you're clouded, anxiety, depression, whatever it is, because all of that deals in the core, that colon. Come on and join the BBG. Okay, we got you. We do a whole lot in there. You get the products, you get the Parabiome, which is the parasite drops, and you're going to get the Juice Plus Super Biome Pro and prebiotic. And then we have recipes. We have challenges. Last month we did the plank challenge where everybody did a plank every day for 10 days. People who haven't worked out in years got on the floor and did a 30-second plank, whatever it is that you can do. This is not perfection, it's not competition. It was so much fun to see everybody in the chat screenshotting their plank time and posting in the chat. And we were all bigging each other up like, yes, yes, keep going, keep going. Like, it was fun, y'all. We got another workout challenge that we doing, and it's important. See, the planks is important. You get to get your core. You got to keep your core tight. Your core is important because that's where your abdominal organs are, your colon, your reproductive organs, all of that is there. It's a lot going on. There's a lot at play. And so when you begin to tighten those organs up, you tighten the fold that keeps you. When you tighten the core up, you tighten the fold that keeps these organs in place. Okay, so that's why we do the workout challenges too. And we already announced the new workout challenge. You got to get in the group though. We have a WhatsApp group for you to get into so that you can begin to take advantage of this. 10 days, family. 10 days. Most of you have 10 days. You can do this in 10 days. The 28-day challenge starts September 14th. Okay. And that's the Flush Your Liver Deworm 28-day challenge. That's September 14th. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow. It's 42 minutes after. I want to thank you all for being here. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about, I was going to, for Children's Health Wednesday, talk about something simple like, packing school lunch for kids. Like I said, all the things that I do in my everyday life it became so simple for me. It may be very challenging for someone else. And so, I've been like ever since my daughter started public school, like I homeschooled my daughter for the first, she was homeschooled kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. She didn't go to school until fourth grade. So 2 years ago, and I've made all her lunches, all natural from scratch, alkaline, everything. So what I'm doing is that I'm going to show you how you can pack like simple healthy snacks and lunches for your children, especially eating this school lunch. You might as well eat fast food. So that's important. You want to keep your children healthy throughout the school year. It's definitely important to start just adopting some natural ways to pack them some, fiber rich foods. Okay. So we might talk about that tomorrow, but I want to thank you all for being here. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to let y'all in. YouTube changed its rules. I got to get my watch hours up. Right? They change it to 8,000 watch hours that you need by January. So family, I'm revving up the content. I'm revving up being on here, teaching consistently. And so I really feel that I am doing this. Like I'm going to make that mark where I'm going to, monetize my channel. That's important because I want more people to have eyes on my content, to have more eyes on this natural way of thinking. We've been tricked out of our own medicine. Okay. So it would do me the biggest favor if you make sure you like this live and share it. Also, you can book your advanced iridology analysis. The link is pinned at the top. If you are ready for that level of healing, you get a full iridology consultation appointment. You get a comprehensive blueprint, and you have labs that you will either send to me. And then after you're done with the first 6 months of your iridology, then you have labs that are also going to be ordered for you. And then you'll have it sent to me, and then we'll decode that and see where you are. But again, the labs only tell part of a story. So I also remind all of my clients that the iridology is the key. Okay. Most countries outside of the US, they don't even care to see your labs. They want to see your iridology. Okay. And so you can book your appointment there. If you're interested in the BBG Bloat Be Gone challenge, and that sounds like something that you want, email me info@holisticapalace.com. We have a whole like kit that we have. So it's like two different websites that you have to get the products from so that you can fully be in the cleanse and fully get the full benefits of what you are doing starting September 1st. But you have to get it done so that you can start on time with the crew. If you start a couple days late, that's cool, right? But as long as you're in, okay. Thank you so much, family, for being here. This was like I wanted to get on here. I wanted to make sure that I did because it was like I was feeling uneasy. And then when I ran into one of my martial arts brother, and I found out that news of his friend, his lady and her health, and I'm just like, wow, like that just really touched me, and that's why I say that's why I titled this live. We've been tricked out of our own medicine. I mean, we forgot that we are the healers. We have the power to heal ourselves. So if you don't take anything from this, I want you to take this, that know that you are intelligent. Know that you were not put here in lack, that you have everything you need. Know that your body is an internal pharmacy and can create its own vitamins, its own minerals, its own medicine when it needs it in the specific place that it needs it. How interesting is it that when you take an aspirin and you have a pain in your tooth, you have a pain in your leg, you have a pain anywhere in your body, that it knows how to target that specific pain receptor? Your body automatically knows how to do that as well if you give it a chance to do that and work with your body. So instead of saying, "Oh my god, I can't sleep at night. I'm not sleeping well. Let me go take this sleep medication." Instead of saying, "Oh, I got an ear infection and I got this infection and I got a cold. Let me take this antibiotic." How about we find out why we're not sleeping well? How about we find out why this is happening, right? Why the tonsils are swollen? Are we not sleeping all through the night, right? It can be many different factors. It can be your liver. It can be the glucose dropping, right? Because when your glucose drops too low at night, your body is going to automatically wake you up and want something. That's why you want something in the middle of the night, because it has to bring that glucose back to a specific number, because your brain needs that while it sleeps. See, it's so many this is why, in my iridology work, I don't just, oh, like this is what it is. Like, I ask questions. You have to ask these types of questions. Like, if you're not sleeping at night, are you waking up between the hours of 3 and 4? How well are you falling asleep, staying asleep? Okay. Like your blood pressure, like how long has it been like that? Do you have any challenges, any worries, any underlying fear? Like all of that is important that you're not going to get on a medical scale. Okay. So if you really want to go to the root and you really, really want to live a life of longevity, quality, not just quantity, quality, come on over. Let's get it done. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you tomorrow for Children's Health Wednesday. Peace, love, and light.